ready?
DJ7.
Who the fuck is this?
Okay. My name is Edwin DeJesus Jr. I'm an Astoria native, and I'm running for New York City Council in District 22, which includes Astoria, Rikers Island, parts of Woodside, Jackson Heights, and East Elmhurst.
Okay. Yo, so I see that you're running for City Council, yeah? Tell me about that right quick.
Okay, thank you, DJ Elf7. I'm running for New York City Council because as someone who's grew up in Astoria, I see my neighborhood changing. I see the millions of Americans in this city, New Yorkers, losing their health insurance during a pandemic. I am witnessing gentrification accelerating due to the COVID-19 relief. The CARES Act, the federal legislation that passed, gave $5 trillion in wealth to just a few dozen billionaires. And because of that greed, because of a system that is built on greed, I'm witnessing people in my community lose their jobs. Restaurants are closing, retail. My mother works at a local shipping warehouse that is going out of business due to Amazon. What we need to do is we need to get the money out of politics. We got to get rid of special interests from real estate and fossil fuels and healthcare so that we can come together as brothers and sisters of one human race, not political parties. We don't need Democrats or versus Republicans. What we need are human beings, because at the end of the day, we can come together and we can defeat the establishment with the use of a third party, with a progressive agenda that says we are no longer going to allow tax breaks for just a few dozen billionaires. What we're going to do is take money from Wall Street speculation, from the big pharmaceutical companies, big fossil fuel industry, from the military industrial complex and Wall Street, so that we can refund ordinary people with basic human rights, so that people can have healthcare, so that we can end the war on drugs to address the issues of systemic racism and police brutality, decriminalize psilocybin mushrooms to use its psychedelic properties to address the mental health crisis that we are facing today, and to make sure that Astoria does not become the next Williamsburg and that we keep the price of a bacon, egg, and cheese at $3.50 a roll.
That's incredible, man. I actually lived in Astoria for a while. That's a beautiful community out there. And yes, the gentrification there has been fierce. Yeah, over the last couple of years, it's been ridiculous. So actually, a lot of things that you said are real cool. It actually smells like you have a background in activism. Can you tell me a little bit about that? You have some time on the streets organizing. What's the deal with that?
Yes, that's true. I was also national advance for the Bernie Sanders 2020 presidential campaign. I got to travel the country with the team that helped produce rallies and town halls for Senator Sanders. I even got to lead his motorcade when I was in South Carolina and worked with people like Nina Turner and Cornel West.
Do you know someone named Brendan Carpenter?
I am not familiar.
That's okay. He said that he was also touring with Bernie Sanders for a while, or doing some type of travel work. So that's interesting. It's all good, though. That's awesome, dude. I like Bernie Sanders. I was quite involved with him in 2016. He has some good points about him, right? He's really good, yeah, versus a lot of the establishment candidates. Now, with all your activism work, has your perspective changed from your experiences?
Yes, actually. So I was under the impression that progressives like AOC are fighting for us because what we did, as many of us who are low income, donate a lot of time and money and energy to her campaign on the promise that she would fight for us, for Medicare for all, and not bow down to the establishment. And I was naive to believe that the squad might actually help using compassion and love rather than an attachment to power and trying to get committee appointments to use their power for the benefit of ordinary people. And we are finding out right now, currently, today, this week, this month, that AOC is refusing to use her leverage to push Nancy Pelosi to hold a floor vote for Medicare for all. And she is unwilling to withhold her vote. And she is using these excuses about how we rather need to fight for a $15 federal minimum wage, which, by the way, Democrats already support. She says that instead we need committee appointments and to eliminate PAYGO. Why don't we just add that to our list of demands? These are not mutually exclusive. These are things that, on top of our baseline demand that healthcare be a human right, we can push the corporate Democrats to the left. I thought that was the whole purpose of biting our tongue up until the election of Joe Biden, was so that we can effectively come together and take down the corporate wing of the Democratic Party. But clearly there's one thing that we can learn here, and that's we can't change the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party changes you. And that's why I'm running neither as a Democrat nor a Republican, but as a third party to put a middle finger in the face of the establishment and say, hey.
Which party are you running on?
So that has yet to be confirmed. I have reached out to the Green Party, so we will see shortly what actual ballot that I'll be running on. So as soon as we collect more signatures for our petition, I can confirm which party you'll be running on. But I can promise you this: it will be a progressive platform from neither of the two major party duopoly.
Okay, I'm feeling that. Yeah. There's a lot of problems, and honestly, local, politics is really often overlooked. So congratulations on that. So now I'm going to ask you a couple questions that I'm asking all the candidates. First of all, do you support Julian Assange?
Yes.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, you're the second one. That's what I'm talking about. How about UBI?
Yes, so what my flagship issue actually is a UBI in the form of weekly stimulus checks for every New Yorker, both employed and unemployed, because even the employed workers like my mother, who are making less, working starvation wages, less than what I'm making on unemployment, we need to give the employed and essential workers the stimulus that they never received. And that is why I'm proposing that we give every New York resident $600 a week. The money is there. You cannot say the money is not there, because we can generate $5 trillion in wealth out of thin air to give to just a few dozen billionaires at the top. We can refund ordinary people with direct payments.
Yo, dude, I'm getting excited, man. You're really inspiring. And honestly, there's another candidate who also supports Assange and UBI, right? Yeah, her name is Victoria Cambranis. Have you heard of her?
No, I haven't actually.
She's running in the Dumbo section. I'm going to try to link you guys up, yeah, and try to maybe create a coalition. I know there's some other Democrat establishment guys who are trying to run their own little coalition, you know what I mean? And, honestly, candidates like yourself that stand for the right things, I'm 100% behind you, man. Thank you so much for being the second one to support those important causes to myself. Now, having your experience as an activist, right, what do you think are the most productive activities for people who are, involved in these kinds of, what are you going to be doing that's effective that will give you a chance to win?
I think what we need to do is we need to come together. We need to not gatekeep progressivism and have infighting between the left, because the establishment is laughing at us behind our backs. What we need to do is come together, form a third-party coalition of ordinary people of all backgrounds. We need to do direct action. We need to call our representatives and pressure them. We need to hold progressive leaders accountable, progressive organizations and groups accountable, because ultimately there will be no change unless we demand change. And so what we need to do is come together in great numbers. That is why right now we have over 350 plus signatures on our petition to pressure AOC to use her leverage on Nancy Pelosi. And with these big numbers, we can have change. See, I think the most typical common problem that I see is self-doubt, particularly when it comes to supporting third parties. I've heard people say, well, I don't want to waste my vote because, a third party doesn't have the chance of winning. I see the opposite. I see that if you're always going to be waiting for the next person to be the change maker, then it will never happen. You need to be the first one. You need to take responsibility, and not popular when it's not trending on Twitter, to stand on your principles and your validity, because ultimately, love and compassion always wins. It always wins when people can say, we are not going to listen to the misinformation that the corporate media is spreading about progressives. We are not going to allow the hatred of the two parties to divide us and conquer us. And we will not allow the greed of a few dozen billionaires to control our way of life behind the scenes. If the Green Party, for example, or any third party were to win 5% of the popular vote in the presidential election, they would receive $100 million from the FEC in 2024. That would effectively legitimize a third party, but it didn't happen because everybody was so scared of Donald Trump, and rightfully so. I think they were missing the bigger picture that you can knock out two birds with one stone. You could remove Donald Trump from office while at the same time creating a pathway forward for a legitimate third party. And so if you didn't vote for a third party in the 2020 election, I would urge that, especially if you don't live in a swing state where you know your vote is going to go to Joe Biden, if you live in New York, no matter what, that you use your popular vote more effectively, given that your electoral vote was always going to go to him anyway.
I love what you're
So
saying,
I
man.
thank you for your activism and for showing up to AOC's office. That was very cool. And in fact, I'm watching the Jimmy Dore show right now, and they just mentioned that there was an action to do this, and they were asking in the chat, "Oh, did this ever happen? Did this happen?" So
It did. Oh my God! Put it up. Put it up. Put it up. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, it's okay. Anyways, yeah. So look, I'm sure you've met a lot of people and you've like pressed the flesh. You know, I mean, you shook their hands or you talked to them. Yeah. Now, some people out there, like you said before, they may have like different. Like I think you already addressed. Like, you know, a lot of people don't believe in the viability of a third party, right? But actually, I think New York City has the Working Families Party, which has been hugely successful. So there's no reason why, you know what I mean? But I am glad you're going Green Party, not Working Families Party. Both parties have had some struggles, you know what I mean? But I think Green Party overall is just healthier, you know what I mean? Yeah, Working Families Party got a little bit too wrapped up, yeah? But maybe you could even go for the endorsement from them, you know what I mean? I really hope you, and I will help you with that. You're a really exciting candidate for myself on a deeply personal level.
Thank you.
No doubt, man. You really, I mean, obviously, right? You referred for action that I'm involved in. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So corruption is a big problem here in New York. Yeah. So what is your grasp of the problem of corruption here? Right. Yeah. Is it more than just a general idea that corruption exists? And what are your specific plans to take on this corruption?
Well, first off, we need more campaign finance reform. We have politicians like Governor Cuomo who circumvent the contribution limits and inflates the number of small donors donating to his campaign. You know, until we overturn Citizens United, we're going to have special interest dark money controlling our politics, which is why the best thing that we can do now as a coalition of progressives is to run on a pledge that we will accept not just corporate PAC money, but all PAC money in general. And I think it is safe to say that I'm one of the only candidates in this race who is not accepting any PAC money whatsoever. And in not accepting a single dollar from fossil fuel lobbyists or executives, whereas other candidates are pledging to accept at least $200, I am accepting none.
Okay, the progressive dream right here. You are definitely rising to the top, bro. You're rising to the top of the field. I'm very, very excited about you. Look, there's a lot of different candidates running. This is actually particularly opportune time to make things happen because a majority of the seats on the council will flip. Yeah, so if the right team gets in there, we can make some real changes. Now, there may be how many other people running in the race in your district right now?
There's about 10. There could be more.
Okay, who do you think are the biggest competitors, and what makes you the best candidate out of all of them?
Yes, so the front runner is Tiffany Caban, who ran for Queens District Attorney in 2019.
Okay.
I agree with Caban on many issues, but there are a few fundamental disagreements that we have. For one, Caban has not come out in public support of a UBI. I would urge her to support the $600 a week weekly stimulus check proposal policy that I'm proposing, because what this does is it has a major impact on the movement for reimagining the police. You see, Caban is in favor of direct cuts to the NYPD budget and dismantling the NYPD entirely. You can look at her DSA candidate questionnaire. She wants to get rid of police entirely. I think there is a better, more efficient solution to addressing the issue of police brutality and systemic racial injustice, and that is to refund ordinary people with basic human rights. If we give people who are low income, if we give people who live in public housing $600 a week and financial resources, we are going to better the lives of people so that they have less incentive to commit crime. See, if we can disincentivize crime, which is the origin of poverty, and give people financial resources.
You grew up in the struggle, didn't you? Yeah?
I would say I struggled. I wouldn't say that I grew up poor,
okay.
But I definitely grew up in a household of parents working paycheck to paycheck, and was not handed anything to me. I attended Columbia University on a full scholarship that was merit-based and based on financial need.
I definitely noticed a depth of understanding.
I'm a recipient of Medicaid, and also a recipient of the unemployment program because I am a gig worker in the film industry.
Oh, cool, cool. What do you do in the film industry?
So I work as a production assistant. So production assistant usually helps the producers when it comes to equipment runs, transporting crew and
Yo, we need to
cast.
talk because I actually have a video channel, right? I have a YouTube channel, so we need to talk. Yeah, maybe we can make some exciting stuff happen. I really like your focus and your energy, and I think that we can achieve great things together. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. Let's talk about how can people find out more about yourself? You know, I mean, I'm super excited. I want to. You got a website? What social media do you share on? Like, share all that with me. What's up?
Yeah, sure. So we found each other through Twitter. I actually just created a Twitter. am new to it. It's Edwin for NYC, which will be the name of our website. We have edwinfornyc.com. It is not published just yet. We are going to publish it in early January, so keep a lookout for that. If you want updates for now, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Eddie, Eddie, Astoria. And my YouTube channel is Lights Camera Edwin, where you can watch some of the films that I've produced.
That's awesome, dude. I'm super excited about that. What are your plans for? Well, what are your thoughts on the current situation? Right, New York is crazy, right? We got this COVID, possible lockdown, right? What's your position on the lockdown, anyways?
So lockdowns can help to slow and curb the spread, and they are a last resort method. They should not be the primary method of addressing a public health crisis, because what they can do is have many adverse effects, including the millions of Americans that had to file for unemployment, the 14.6 Americans who lost their health care during a pandemic. We had people in Texas lining up by the thousands to receive food donations during Thanksgiving. The mental health crisis is at an all-time high. Substance abuse is at an all-time high. Depression, suicidal thoughts. 1 in 10 Americans have seriously contemplated suicide. You cannot have a lockdown without giving people financial resources. The United States is the only major country right now during this pandemic to not cover the income, or to rather wages for its workers. Other countries are covering 80%, 100% of wages. We are in this country covering zero. And we have 90 plus million Americans who are uninsured or underinsured. So having a lockdown and having people lose their jobs, the restaurant industry is forecasted to lose 40% of restaurants and bars during this winter. What is going to happen to workers who work at these restaurants? What is going to happen to the undocumented workers working at restaurants who cannot apply for unemployment and who pay their taxes and are not getting a break when they fairly deserve one? And I will say, the effects of gentrification are accelerating. Astoria is the most diverse neighborhood in the entire country. There's a documentary on it that you can watch. It is one of the most beautiful places in the country. I say that obviously not just because I'm from there. I still live here, and I hope to live here for the rest of my life. It's a beautiful place, but we do not want it to become Williamsburg. We do not want the price of a bacon, egg, and cheese to be more than $3.50. And we do that by stabilizing rent for all residential and commercial properties, so that property value doesn't increase, and we're not kicking out locals, so that people can come in from out of city, out of state, and take over and homogenize our culture.
I'm in the Astoria Facebook group, and that's a constant issue.
Culture.
I'm in the Astoria Facebook group, and that because I used to live in Astoria, and that's a constant, like, people constantly talking about that. So that's good that you have your pulse on the community right there, and you're able to see what's going on. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, I like candidates that actually interact with the communities versus talking about what they saw on the TV show, because it's mad obvious. You know what I mean? So, yo, props to you, man. You're one of my favorites that came on the show so far, man, for real. So I am super impressed, and God bless, man. I'll be in contact real soon, man. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, DJ Elf7. You've been wonderful to do this interview with, and I hope we can stay in touch, and I very much look forward to working with you in the
I'm
future.
working on your campaign, bruh. You know what I mean? I'm working on your campaign. There ain't no question. Yeah, I'm also, remember that I'm trying to interview every single person who's running for city council, so I will put you in touch with other people that are like-minded, because your vision is very, very close to mine. Probably almost the closest, yeah? Maybe Victoria's close as well. So I'll try to patch you guys together, and we're going to fucking win. Let's go! All right? Yeah, thank you, Edwin. You're awesome.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's a dark day in our nation. when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent, the truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DeJesus. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these
We
words
are on all
is
the major
beyond
platforms.
doubt.
That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Daily Motion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos. Make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot. And looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.